Welcome to the Explainer. You know that feeling when you flip through an architectural digest or walk into a truly high-end home, and you just feel this instant, deep envy over those massive floor-to-ceiling libraries, right? There's just something about a wall of beautifully integrated shelves that makes a room feel so established, so expensive, and completely transformed. Well, today, we're taking that exact dream and we're making it a reality.
But here's the reality check that kind of stops most of us in our tracks. You call up a local contractor, and they hit you with the quote for $8, $10, maybe even $15,000 for custom millwork. Yeah, it's enough to make you just close the magazine and walk away. But what if I told you that with a little bit of sweat equity, you could achieve that exact same $10,000 architectural aesthetic for, wait for it, around $500 in materials? No way, right? Yes way.
Okay, so let's dive right into this. Here's our foundation to finish roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The custom dream. 2. The great material showdown of IKEA versus plywood. 3. Essential tools and joinery. 4. Secrets to seamless millwork. And 5. Pro painting and finishing.
All right, moving into Section 1, the custom dream.
So a lot of people make the mistake of just buying whatever standalone shelves happen to fit against a wall. But true custom built-ins, they're all about intentionality, and they can add thousands of dollars in perceived value to your home. Now, if that feels incredibly intimidating, I want you to really think about this quote from DIY creator Renee Renovates. She says, "Underneath the fancy trim and the moody paint, it's just building a big box with dividers inside. That's it." Today, we're stripping away all that intimidation factor. Remember, you're literally just building boxes.
Which brings us to Section 2, IKEA hacks versus plywood, the material showdown.
Okay, so before you can build your boxes, you've got to choose your foundation, right? Do you hack store-bought IKEA shelves, or do you build completely from scratch? Now, the most recognizable piece of furniture in the world is probably the IKEA Billy bookcase. It's the absolute go-to for DIYers who want a quick, easy start. But on the other side of the ring, we've got 3/4-inch birch plywood, which is basically the gold standard for custom cabinetry.
Now, both of these can look absolutely incredible, but let's break down the hidden headaches here. The IKEA Billy is made of MDF, and honestly, MDF is notoriously weak. Books are heavy, meaning that MDF is really prone to sagging over time, or even bubbling if it gets exposed to water. Plus, the Billy comes with this folded cardboard back that leaves a really visible crease down the middle. It is a dead giveaway that it's store-bought. Plywood, on the other hand, sure, it requires power tools, but it is incredibly strong, very rigid, and it uses a solid 1/4-inch wood sheet for a totally flawless, seamless back.
So, knowing all that, you'd probably think IKEA is the ultimate budget option, right? Well, consider this. To get a Billy bookcase to reach a 12-foot ceiling using their extenders, it runs you about $172. But to build that exact same massive structure out of high-quality birch plywood, it actually costs about $152. Yeah, building from scratch is actually slightly cheaper in raw materials while giving you vastly superior heavy-duty construction. Talk about a win-win.
All right, Section 3, Essential Tools and Joinery.
Of course, the catch with that $152 plywood price tag is that you do need the right tools to turn raw wood into beautiful furniture. But listen, you don't need some massive professional wood shop for this. A circular saw with a rip guide? That's perfect for safely cutting down large sheets. You'll also need a miter saw for cutting trim, a basic drill and impact driver for assembly, and a brad nailer. And yes, I know it's an upfront investment, but as literally any seasoned DIYer will tell you, these tools rapidly pay for themselves after just 1 or 2 projects.
Now, if you're sitting there wondering how on earth to connect all this wood without using, complex traditional carpentry, the magic answer is pocket hole joinery. This is an absolutely foolproof method. Basically, you use a really simple jig to drill angled holes, and then you just securely screw the pieces together. It hides the screws completely and creates incredibly strong joints. You just make lots and lots of pocket holes, and suddenly, boom, you have a rock-solid structure. Moving right along to Section 4, Secrets to Seamless Millwork. Okay, so whether you assemble an IKEA Billy or you build a plywood box from scratch, at this stage, it really still just looks like a shelf sitting in a room. To actually integrate it into your house, there's a specific 3-step architectural trick required to achieve that seamless millwork look. Skip these, and your project is going to look amateur for sure. First, we build the plinth. Second, we attach face frames. And third, we integrate the crown molding. Let's break these down.
First up is the plinth. Here's the thing. If you place a shelf directly on the floor, your brain instantly registers it as a piece of standalone furniture.
To trick the eye and make it a true built-in, you build a simple rectangular frame out of 2x4s and you set your shelves right on top of that. This lifts the entire unit exactly 3.5 inches off the floor. Why that magic number? Because that exact height allows your room's existing baseboards to wrap continuously right across the front of the shelves. When the baseboard flows seamlessly from the wall right into the unit, the illusion is totally complete. It physically becomes part of the house.
Next up, we add face frames. When you place two shelf units side by side, you end up with this double thickness seam down the middle that honestly looks terrible. So to fix this, you just nail 1x2 pine strips vertically over the edges and horizontally right across the shelves. This hides the seams, it hides any cheap particle board edges, and it makes your thin shelves look 2 inches thick and just incredibly substantial. Oh, and another crucial detail. You absolutely must fill every single unused adjustable peg hole with wood filler and sand it flat. I know, it's super tedious, but when it's painted, the interior is going to look like one smooth, solid, custom piece of wood.
And that brilliantly leads us right to our final architectural step, the crown molding. Look, a built-in only looks built-in if it actually touches the ceiling. That awkward gap at the top, that's the dead zone. You have to bridge it by adding a flat header board and then trimming the very top with crown molding. It is the ultimate signifier of a true high-end custom build. And hey, here's a quick pro tip for you. To avoid doing complex compound angle math, just cut the molding upside down and backwards on your miter saw. It's a total lifesaver.
All right, let's wrap this up with Section 5, Professional Painting and Finishing.
So right now, your structure looks beautiful, but it's this Frankenstein mix of raw pine, wood filler, and maybe some white laminate. Improper prep and painting right here will completely ruin this entire illusion. Painting laminate specifically is a science. It's not a suggestion. Because it's literally designed to repel stains, it will violently repel regular paint. So first, you have to scuff sand every single inch with 220 grit sandpaper to create some tooth. Second, and guys, this is non-negotiable, apply a shellac-based primer, something like Zinsser Bin. It's the only thing that will actually bond to that slick surface. And finally, spray on a high-quality leveling cabinet paint to erase all those brush strokes and make it look completely factory finished.
Now for what interior designers like to call the jewelry of the project, lighting. Lighting is exactly what separates a dark, heavy, imposing bookshelf from a glowing, high-end library. And the best part? You don't even need an electrician for this. You can buy these battery-operated, remote-controlled brass picture lights online for like 20 bucks each. You just mount them right to that header board you built, and that warm glow cascading down your newly painted shelves, it looks instantly, undeniably expensive.
Finally, let's talk styling. Because a custom library is really only as good as what's actually sitting on the shelves. To really highlight your beautiful craftsmanship, you want to follow the visual rule of thirds. Make the shelves 1/3 books, making sure to mix vertical stacks and horizontal piles. Make them 1/3 decor, bringing in your personality with sculptures or nice vases. And critically, leave 1/3 as completely empty space. This is huge because it gives the eye a place to rest and completely prevents this massive structure from feeling cluttered or overwhelming. Okay, so you have the blueprint. You know the secrets of the plinth, the face frames, the absolute magic of shellac primer, and the sheer power of continuous baseboards and crown molding. You really don't need a massive $10,000 budget for this. You just need intentionality, some patience, and the willingness to learn a few new skills. So the only question left to ask yourself today is this. When you start building your dream custom library, will you choose the quick speed of an IKEA hack or the unbeatable lasting strength of custom plywood? Whichever foundation you choose, I promise you've totally got this. Keep learning, keep building, and we'll see you on the next explainer.